What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rewind Podcast. I'm Brian. This is Audrey. And today we're going to be discussing my personal transformation and sort of how Rewind started. And so Audrey is going to actually be leading the show today, asking me a bunch of questions. How you doing today, Audrey?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good, thanks. You excited to like put me under the gun?
I am excited. I mean, I've heard a lot of your story, but it will be nice to share it with everyone.
And now you get to ask me the questions today. So ask away. Let's do it.
All right. So I guess we'll just get started with kind of a little background on you, who you are, what inspired you to, start the health journey, and ultimately, I guess, led to Rewind. So
awesome. So first, about 12 years ago, I owned a different business, which was search engine optimization, a website development business. And it was the second business I owned. The first one, I think we sold when I was 28. And I just realized that I was sort of lacking in motivation. The business was really good, but I wasn't trying to expand it. Like I felt like I had lost the drive that I had on my first business. And I just knew that something was off because I would just sit there all day long and just do the bare minimum. And I was always telling myself that tomorrow was the day that I was going to start something. Tomorrow was the day that I was going to start something. And so I was in a little bit of like a weird funk. I even think of it as like a weird type of depression where it's not depressed as in sitting around depressed. It's more just like, I think, lethargic feeling. And then, another key moment. So I was talking to my client, one of our clients of that business, and then he's a client of our current business. And he was telling me, I've been telling you for 3 years to try testosterone out, that you'd feel dramatically better. So that's when I started to entertain the idea of going to a clinic like Rewind. And then the next big one was a friend of mine from Michigan was down in Miami, and we made a bet to see who would get in the best shape in 5 months. My good friend Kiko, so shout out to Kiko. And so anyway, we both showed up, and I lost after 5 months like 5 pounds. I was doing all the stuff that was working in my 30s and 30s and 20s, and it just wasn't working any longer for me. And so that's when I really went to I remember, I think it was like December 13th. And I went to a clinic. We ran some labs. I was low in testosterone, low in growth hormone. And so I just decided to do this program out of the blue. Mm-hmm. And I decided to start it right before the holidays because I thought, why am I going to like keep going out, living in Miami, going to all these holiday parties, eating, drinking, and then start out the next year 5 pounds heavier? And so I just decided right then, and I ordered, and I had no confidence because there wasn't a lot of information out, back then about clinics and HRT, and YouTube was just sort of starting to grow. So there wasn't all of this really good information out there. And so I went to a clinic. I decided to start, like I said, a couple weeks before the end of the year. And then I'll talk a little bit about this later on, but some of the steps of what I used to actually make such good progress. But, I went on testosterone, I went on growth hormone booster, and 5 months later, I think I had lost 30 pounds. I went from being about 30% body fat down to probably about 14%. Felt amazing, total shift in energy level. And so that was the very beginning, like the quick sort of summary of it.
Nice. So that's crazy. You said the first 5 months you only lost 5 pounds, and then 5 months into starting with the products, you were able to lose like
exactly 30.
Exactly.
And then, and I'll show a progression of these because I have them, and we have a different video of it on the website. But I decided to take pictures every single week just to make myself accountable. And because a lot of these products weren't really popular back then, mm-hmm. that I was thinking to myself, this is going to be it. This is the like game changer. And so I started taking pictures every Monday. So I'll include in this video the progression of pictures, but then one after the other, you start to see change. You start to believe. It's like some things you don't believe are possible until you start achieving them. So I think never hold yourself back. Just sort of set some really aggressive goals and then work towards achieving those goals.
Yeah, and then wanting to start all of this for you was more so how you were feeling versus how you looked. And then later
Exactly. You know, so I think that's another key that I learned. You know, I wasn't doing it to get, not being in shape was part of the problem, but the bigger problem was not having the mental energy and the focus to actually go and grow my other business. And so that's how I knew something was off. And then my goal wasn't to get to 14%. I mean, you know, having a low body fat percentage and being in shape is like a really good positive benefit, but it wasn't the real goal. The goal was to feel better, to get out of that depressed mode. And then as a result of feeling so good, the getting in shape became, I think, very easy.
Yeah, I think that that's like one cool aspect about all of this stuff is that like most people start because of how they like feel. And then when you start to feel better, everything else just like falls into place. And there's like all these added perks and benefits to getting everything in order.
Well, I think also sometimes people come to us to get in better shape, but then they would admit if you ask them what's the best benefit, it's actually feeling better.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the ultimate goal is to feel your best. Feel your best, you'll look your best, right?
100%.